Please welcome him to the stage.
Hey guys, Merry Christmas. I'm spooky. I'm a well-adjusted individual now. I think the truth is, since I was young, till about the age of 30, I think I have seen many fully formed apparitions, many ghosts, many spooky goings-on, many specters, many spirits. I'm not going to tell you about any of those. Strange, you know. I'm going to tell you about something that really happened, because I was thinking about what the paranormal is. First of all, why do they have normal in the word? It's mostly para. So I'm going to tell you something that actually happened, but I understood to be paranormal. You will probably come to understand that it's about actual people. So I just want to make sure I tell you, I'm not ascribing anything to anyone, and I'm certainly not making fun of anyone. But I want to tell you something terrifying, I think, that happened to me, and how I understood it, and how everyone around me felt when they saw it, if that's fair. I was in high school, believe it or not, graduated. Most of my friends were from Weston, Ontario. It's in Toronto, but it was a small town before. We'd hang out in a park by the Humber River Valley called Crookshank Park. Giant ravines on every side. This is a very good place to hang out, to smoke weed. You can see the police coming a mile away. And then you would run, and they would never catch you. It seemed like they weren't very interested in catching us. So we'd always go down there in a larger group, because it was also Weston. So if you were to run into anyone, 3 is probably not enough. You need 4 or 5, 6. This particular night was a weeknight. We had just been back at school for a couple of weeks. There was about 7 of us. There was no one else around the neighborhood. To get into the park, you can't do it by accident. You have to either be thrown down the ravine, which has happened, and you're only there if you're smoking weed or dumping a body, or both. We were good boys, and we weren't dumping a body. So we were sitting around somewhere in the park. It's a forested area, almost. There's a clearing. We were sitting there, smoking weed, okay? Which was very illegal then. When in the distance, we noticed there was someone standing there. And she didn't approach us, but she stood on the edge, sort of like maybe where those candles are back there. And she was just staring at us. And we all looked at her, and we got really quiet. It was an old woman, dressed all in white, long kind of white stringy hair. She was just looking at us. And then she said to us, "Have you seen my husband?" We all got really quiet and looked at her, and none of us wanted to talk. And she said it again, "Where's my husband?" We thought, this is very strange, but not so strange for Weston. Many a husband has gone missing. Many people looking for their husbands. If you're looking for your husband tonight, check Weston. There was something really strange about her, and I was scared immediately. And looking around my friends, who were nice boys, but very tough. I mean, there we were, smoking weed in Weston, pretty gangster. They were scared too, and none of us wanted to talk back to her or say anything to her. We just wanted her to leave. So she stood there just staring at us, breathing. And all of us were very quiet, just looking at us, as if we stayed quiet, she would no longer talk to us. Just the statues, basically. And she did go away. And then the first thing any of us said was, what if she comes back? For no reason, we were so terrified of the prospect of this old woman coming back. And I was thinking, I'm glad I'm not sitting sort of on the other side where I was, because I don't want my back to this woman. And I wanted to leave. I was very creeped out. So she came back. She stood a good distance away from us again, and she asked for her husband again. Have you seen my husband? And this time, my friend Ali said to her, I think your husband's 6 feet under. And all of us looked at him like, shut the fuck up. Don't do this. And immediately she engaged him, said, no, no, no. Started walking towards him. He got up, and one of us said, Ali, chill out. And as soon as she heard his name, it was almost as if she was excited to know his name. And her eyes became bright. They were like a bluish silver. She looked very demented. And she raised her arm to him and pointed at his chest and said, Ali, Ali, Ali. And as soon as she did this, he knocked her arm down, which really, now I think we were all scared that Ali was going to kill a woman in Weston. So that added that to the night. And immediately he began to speak to her in Arabic and yell at her. And when he did that, she went absolutely bananas and freaked out and started going, ah! All of us 17s were so scared, and one of us said, let's just get out of here, let's just get out of here, let's just get out of here. And then almost, my impression of it, she stood on one leg and began to shake violently and looking at us. And this was a frail old woman. The sense I got from it looking at her was that she was communicating, you didn't think I could do this. But I can. And if I can do this, I can do so much more. And we left her. We got up and left, and she continued to stand on one leg, growling at us. And the last thing she said to us was, you'll meet others, which really scared the hell out of me. So Ali and I took the bus home together. I lived near Kipling, he lived near Martin Grove. And he said to me, what do you think she meant by will meet others? And I knew what she meant. We were going to be perpetually haunted by demons for the rest of our life. Absolutely clear. And then I asked him what he had said to her. And he told me it was a Muslim prayer against the devil, which I didn't like too much. Her reaction in hindsight is kind of not something I felt good about. The story doesn't really have an ending, except 2 weeks later, Ali paged me. Had a pager. He asked me to come over to his house, and I did. And we sat in the garage, and he was crying. And I asked him why, and it was because his little brother had just been killed on Martin Grove Road. He was on his bicycle, and he was hit by a car. The car was driven by an old woman who shouldn't have been on the road. She had a neck brace on, and he was killed instantly. He showed me a drawing from his brother's art class, and it was him lying on the road, his bicycle broken and blood coming out of his head, and a light shining up into the sky. And I always thought at that point that somehow that was somehow connected. It was not a very good year, but that is a story about how an old woman chased 8 very good boys out of Crookshank Park in Weston. Thank you very much.